Okay, so let's make sure we've got it. Remember we said the key thing to remember to subtract integers. When the signs are the same, add. When the signs are different, subtract. The most important part, keep sign a bigger looking number, which is really the bigger absolute value. Remember, the absolute value is the number of hops from 0. Si los signos lo mismo, sumar. Signos diferentes, restar o menos. Mantener el signo del número más grande. Okay, so that's the key. Alright, so let's do a few more and then I'll show you the new stuff. And then I'll let you have your assignment. -10. Let's see. I'm going to go... I'm going to throw some addition in here to start off with. Just to make sure you remember what to do with addition. Because on your assignment, some of them will already be addition. If it's already addition, don't change it. There's nothing to change. That's what we want. We want addition. Okay, so here we go. Are my signs the same or different? They're the same. So I add. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. 13's bigger looking. I got a negative. My signs are different. If my signs are different, what do I do? Subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. I get a positive 13. My signs are the same. Son igual. So I sumar. We add. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. I get a negative 20. My signs the same or different? Different. My signs are different. When I don't see a plus, I know it's positive. Signs are different, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. I get a negative 10. So if it's already addition, don't change anything. Don't change anything. So the big problem came with subtraction. Alright, so let's go ahead and write these 4 down then. Actually, I'm going to do them one at a time. -12 minus a -5. So let's review again. If I see subtraction, do I ever want to subtract? No. What do? Add the opposite. Sumar la opuesta. So I'm going to add. What's the opposite of -5? Positive 5. Now I do the same rule. My signs are different, subtract. 12 take away 5 is 7. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. 12 is bigger looking, it's negative. So I got a -7. Okay, now remember if it's this. 4 minus 15. It is not 11. You cannot say it's 11. Do I ever want to subtract? So I want to see on your paper, add. And then what's the opposite of 15? I'm going to put a little minus for -15. And my parentheses, because the opposite of 15 is -15. Alright, my signs are different, subtract. There's my 11. But then I got to keep the sign of the bigger looking number. Bigger is 15, so it's going to be a -11. Okay, let's go again, -3. Minus 10. Do I ever want to subtract? No. Add. What's the opposite of 10? -10. Do I ever touch the front number? Never. I never touch the front number. Don't mess with that one. Signs are the same. Add. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. I got -13. Okay, let's say I got -15 minus a -10. Do I ever want to subtract? No. Add. What's the opposite of -10? Positive 10. Signs are different, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. I got -5. Okay, so your turn. Now I'm going to mix this up. So I'm going to mix this up. I might throw in some addition. I might throw in just pure subtraction. We'll have to see what we got. I want you to solve it. Here we go. Negative 3 minus 15. 4 plus a negative 15. Negative 2 minus a negative 10. And let's go one more. 5 minus 10. Okay, solve those four, please, on your own. Okay, so here we go. Do I ever want to subtract? No. I add. What's the opposite of 15? Negative 15. Did you draw the parentheses? Okay, my signs are the same. We add. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. I got negative 18. Was this already addition? Yes, so don't mess with it. My signs are different. I subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. 15 is bigger. It's going to be a negative. Negative 11. Do I want to subtract? No, I'm going to add the opposite. Okay, my signs are different. Subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. It's positive, so I got positive 8. Do I want to subtract? No, I add. What's the opposite of 10? Negative 10. Please draw this on your paper. I want to see the parentheses. Signs are different. Subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger looking number. And I got negative 5. Okay? So I'm going to give you a bunch of those for practice. Then I'm going to give you an addition and a subtraction one for review. So let's do one of those. It's been a while. 2 and 5, 6, minus 1.5. Remember what I do first. So I'm going to go around the world, right? 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17/6. Minus 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 halves, right? Okay, now what was our next step? We draw, let's see, we're gonna draw our lines. What's gonna work with 6 and 2? What's a number that will work with 6 and 2? I'm gonna, instead of doing 12, which I could do, but then that's gonna give me huge numbers, I'm just gonna use 6. Because 6 goes into 6 and 2 goes into 6. What do I multiply 6 by to get a 6? 1. So I didn't really need to change anything because 1 times 6 is 6 and 1 times 17 is 17. 2 times what gives me 6? 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Alright, 17 take away 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I get 8. 8, 6. Can the top be bigger? Nope. So we're going to tip that over. 6 dentro de 8 es 1. Alrededor del mundo que tengo, I have 1 and 2, 6. ¿Puedo reducir? Yes. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 6 3 times. I got 1 and 1/3. So I'm going to give you an addition and a subtraction. Then I'm going to give you what I call temperature problems. Problemas de temperatura. So it's going to say A scientist is conducting an experiment. The temperature reads 72 degrees in the morning. So, un científico va a ver la temperatura en la mañana es, let's do 45 de grados. So in the morning, the temperature is 45 degrees Celsius. And let's say in the afternoon, we got negative, 60 degrees Celsius. Y en la tarde, la temperatura es 60 menos de grados. So in the morning we have this much, and in the afternoon we have this much. So it's dropping. The temperature is dropping. Okay, so to solve temperature problems, I want to know the difference. ¿Qué es la diferencia entre los dos? So if I want to know the difference, that means I want to subtract. So every time I do a temperature problem, I do line, line, and minus. Cuando veo un problema de temperatura, haga dos líneas y menos. Okay, the first temperature was 45. Second temperature was negative 60. Do I want to see these two like this? No. I have to use parentheses. All right, now we do exactly what we were doing here. Do I ever want to subtract? No. What do? Add the opposite. Sumar la opuesta. Okay, the signs are the same. We add. So the change is 105 degrees Celsius. Remember to use the degree symbol in Celsius because now we're talking about temperature. We're talking about temperature. Okay, let's do another one, number 7. So I take the temperature in the morning, it's 21 degrees. Fahrenheit this time. Let's do Fahrenheit. And then later in the day, it drops to negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. 21 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it's negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we draw our lines because we know we're looking for the difference. ¿Qué es la diferencia entre los dos? Diferencia, línea, línea, diferencia. So we put the first one, 21. We put the second one, negative 15. Put my parentheses. Do I ever want to subtract? No. Sumar la opuesta. Add the opposite. Opposite of 15, negative 15 is positive 15. Signs are the same. What do? Add. So let's see, that's a 6. I get 36. And it's degrees Fahrenheit this time. So all I'm saying is if I was looking at a thermometer, up here is 21 degrees, down here is negative 15 degrees. What is the difference? How many lines are there in between here? Well, there's 36. There's 21 up here. There's 15 up here, down here. So altogether, the difference is 36 lines. La diferencia entre los dos temperaturas es 36. 21 aquí y 15 aquí. Sumar, tengo 36. So that's what I'm looking for, is the difference. I would keep the sign of the bigger looking number if they were different, but they're not. They're both positive. Okay, your assignment is the 1-2 Day 1 worksheet. 1-2 Day 1 worksheet. If you can't print it, open it up, and you can rewrite the problems onto another piece of paper.